The expanding gases propel the bullet through the barrel. When the bullet passes the gas cylinder port, gas moves from the barrel through the gas port into the gas cylinder. Here it enters the piston through the ports in the collecting ring. The gas expands and forces the piston to the rear. The piston strikes the operating rod and begins the rearward movements of the operating parts. The expanding gas moves through the front gas cylinder nut in the gas cylinder extension. Excess gas escapes at the bleeder hole. The remaining gas escapes at the gas escape ports at the rear of the cylinder. Unlocking begins with the rearward movement of the operating rod. As the operating rod travels rearward, there is a slight delay before the bolt is unlocked from the barrel socket. Here is why. The operating rod has a short period of free travel. As the camming yoke passes through the straight portion of the bolt camming slot. When the camming yoke reaches the curved portion of the bolt camming slot, it forces the bolt to rotate in a counterclockwise direction. The bolt locking lugs and the locking recesses of the barrel socket are at such an angle that counterclockwise rotation of the bolt during unlocking permits a slight rearward movement. The now tightly seated cartridge case is loosened in the chamber. This prevents the extractor from tearing through or slipping over the head of the cartridge case. The operating rod overcomes the resistance of the bolt. Unlocking is completed. Extracting and ejecting now begin. The empty cartridge case, gripped by the extractor, is drawn from the chamber. In this view, you see the ejector on the other side of the bolt. It was compressed during chambering and exerts forward pressure on the rim of the cartridge. When the empty case reaches the ejection port in the right side of the receiver, the ejector spins the case from the gun. Ejection is completed. The next round pushes out the link. The firing pin spring is compressed and cocking is accomplished. The operating rod drive spring is compressed. The operating rod drive spring guide is in contact with the buffer plunger. The moving operating rod compresses the spring against the head of the operating rod drive spring guide. The buffer plunger forces the buffer pads rearward against the buffer return springs. The buffer pads expand against the buffer tube body. The pads and springs absorb the rearward energy, and the cycle has been completed. However, the energy stored in the compressed operating rod drive spring is prepared to carry the operating rod forward and start the entire cycle all over again. The M60 will fire automatically as long as the trigger is held to the rear. When the trigger is released, the rear end of the sear pivots upward and engages the sear notch in the operating rod, and fire ceases. The gun has been automatically cocked. The bolt has remained to the rear and is ready to begin the forward movement of the cycle. A round is ready to be chambered. The machine gun 7.62 millimeter M60 is easy to load. It is easy to unload. It is a gas-operated, air-cooled, and belt-fed machine gun that performs its 8 necessary functions in very nearly simultaneous actions. Ammunition for the weapon is available in several categories: ball, tracer, armor-piercing, and for field use, linked 4-ball-to-1 tracer. The M60 is a versatile machine gun. It can be fired from a lightweight tripod mount. Barrels are changed in a matter of seconds. It can also be fired from its organic bipod. Its cyclic rate of fire of approximately 550 rounds per minute, combined with its versatility, provides a potent automatic weapon capable of delivering a close, continuous volume of fire.